Recognizes the manager.
Thank you, Mayor. First item, we've got public agenda on the first page. Two people will speak there. You've heard from both of them in the past. Page 2, number 1 is a $12 million project. It's for multifamily housing revenue bonds to acquire and renovate the Somerset Plaza Tower. Has 100 units in the tower. Number 2 is issuance of healthcare facility revenue bonds. This is for refunding of a previous issue, $3.3 million. Number 3 is the annual sidewalk program for arterial streets. There are 3 primary locations, one in Arkansas, one on 37th Street, and then one at the corner of McCormick and Osage, or the intersection of those 2 streets. $450,000 project. Number 4 is the relocation of the Linwood Branch Library to 4195 East Harry, the old Harry Street Mall. The lease is $49,000 a year for 6,900 square feet of space. The library, as part of the lease payment, the library will be remodeled, upgraded, some of the systems, HVAC for instance. We would move in January of 2021, and that would be consistent with what we've talked about during our budget. Also, the improvements in this, or actually the features in this library, will be consistent with what you had in the branch, what you approved in the branch library study. So this will be a great facility, and one that I think I've heard from Councilmember Clendenin about for like 100 years, I think. So.
8 years now.
Yeah. Exactly. So
It's
I think
called
this will be great for residents.
It will be, and I've talked to even other than the seniors that use Linwood, because I know there's still some angst there. But I don't know if you remember Emily Doffing, who was the young lady who came up and told us how much Linwood changed her life, you know, and how coming from a poor background and needing a safe place, I let her know what was going on, and she is ecstatic. Awesome. She is, so she's glad services are being expanded, and so this is going to be really great.
Okay. Page 3.
Should have her at the opening.
Oh, I asked her if she could be.
Page 3 is the conclusion of the acquisition negotiations for a piece of ground that you had approved earlier for us to try to purchase. It's 5.3 acres adjacent to the site for the Northwest Wichita Water Facility. We would pay $6.2 million. Just to point out, that's slightly above what we had received as the appraised value. And so in order to justify this cost, they are taking on managed responsibilities after we purchase the property. So this is a storage facility, and there are units that still have contracts, and instead of us managing it through the contract period, they would do that as all part of this cost. And that also will help us on the relocation expenses that we'll have associated with this. Number 6, you have approved this in concept when you approved amendments to our comprehensive plan. These are the actual contracts for 3 agencies that address issues of domestic violence. These are the actual contracts for them to receive a total of $75,000 in CARES funding. Page 4, you heard last week from a representative of the Lieutenant Bleckley Memorial Group. Airport Advisory Board also received that presentation. They're recommending to you that you endorse the project as the airport authority and allow the volunteers to raise the funds necessary to have the plane brought here, and if a feasible site at the airport can be identified, that the memorial that would go into the Eisenhower terminal. So
are they talking about hanging the plane inside the Eisenhower terminal?
That was the original concept. I don't know that the advisory board doesn't have a recommendation to you on that. Okay. It's that You endorse the project, and we'll try to find a fitting site in the airport.
Okay.
But they need a yes or no, remember,
Right.
is how they presented it, so.
Tampa Airport, I think Chicago Airport have planes that they've hung in.
St. Louis, I mean, there are
St.
others
Louis,
that do
yeah.
it, yeah.
There's one at WSU Tech. I mean, it's a smaller one, but
Yeah.
yeah, at the entrance.
Okay. I don't have anything on page 5. Page 6, I have a few items. Number 5, if you remember, I think it's the Police Foundation is raising funds for cameras, safety cameras for the riverfront in downtown. And this is a contract with the Drury to allow one of those cameras and some equipment to be located at the top of the Drury. Number 7 is an agreement with Schaefer Johnson to help coordinate the completion and installation of the art for the stadium. It's a $58,000 contract. That was anticipated and is included in the budget, so it's not above and beyond. And then the number 8 is also associated with the stadium. As you know, IFG has been our owner's representative throughout the process, and I think they've done phenomenal work in terms of representing our interests and keeping us on budget. This is an amendment to their existing contract that will allow them to represent us through closeout, and that's a $118,000 contract.
We have in the budget.
And this is in the
Approved
budget. Yep. Mayor, that's all I have.
Are there any questions on the agenda?
Yeah, I have a question. Bob, is there any way, we all heard the sad news this morning about Mayor Carl Brewer's untimely passing. Is there any way that we can add a moment of silence to the agenda for Tuesday?
Yeah, normally
Okay.
that would be the mayor.
Definitely, that's very good. Also, we will be ordering, is I guess a bad word, but we will be persuasively asking all flags for city-owned buildings to be at half-mast for the next week.
Excellent.
Any further questions on the agenda? Any questions from Blue Bog? No.
Or Fred?
Usually comes through the speakers.
I'm not sure he's on.
Thank you all, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.